Hello everyone, Michael E. Parker here, ready for another YouTube session. Have you ever been in a situation where you wonder, what are you really doing and what are you really accomplishing in life? You have all the responsibilities as an entrepreneur, as a professional, as someone that's trying to manage a home, whether you're a father, you're a mother, you have responsibilities to children or to a spouse, just all the things that you're dealing with, even if you're single and you've got so many things you're trying to get done every single day while also trying to stay on top of your health and your wellness and all the bills. And we often are in this struggle of what are we doing and are we doing the right thing? And that's why we're talking today about how you're doing too much and too little. We're going to talk about what that all means and how that is all related to your priorities and how you get things done. Now, I want you to consider for a minute all the different things that you're trying to balance, the things you're trying to juggle. And we all have things that we have to get done, that we have to fight for, things that we want to see, get, actually to the highest level of accomplishment, things that we want to make sure that by the end of the day we get done, by the end of the week we get done, by the end of the month we get done. And we start to learn that for us to have a productive life, we have to understand what it means to be productive. How do I actually be productive in the things that I do? Now, I want you to consider for a minute that productivity must be defined by you, because productivity is all relative. One person's waste is another one's productivity, depending on what that item is, what it means to their life, what's important to them. So I want you to consider that we have to really begin to get in a situation where we have a clearer definition of what we're actually trying to get done. And we have to really begin to understand, why do we feel sometimes overwhelmed with all the different tasks that surround us, all the things that we have to get done? So a lot of times when we think about the things we have to do and how to prioritize things, we think a lot about, exactly the task that we need to get done, the thing that is on our list. Let me go to my whiteboard for a minute. We're all familiar with this. A lot of times we talk about what is known as a to-do list. And that to-do list begins to guide a certain amount of things that we want to get done, right? And all of us have this, right? We got some sort of to-do list that we're dealing with, something that we should be getting done. And our goal is that we want to actually see some of these things get checked off, right? So a lot of times we think about this. We think about how, what is it that I need to do? So in a sense, this is dealing with the what, right? What is it that I need to do? Now, a lot of times I want you to keep in mind, what we need to do is, something that we have to really begin to think deeply about, and we start to consider, okay, here's what I need to do at work. Here's what I need to do at home. Here's what I want to do, even for myself. What are all these areas that I want to do things for? And so when you consider that and you start to build this list, you can even begin to categorize this list, right? And you can have some things on this list that are specific to work that are very important, some things on here that are specific to health, and other things on here that are specific to, let's say, things that you're trying to do to grow, things that you want to do to develop. But you're going to have different ways of assigning a priority to the things that you want to do, right? Now, when we think about what we want to do, I want you to consider for a minute that another big thing that we often deal with, right, is the how, right? How am I going to do these things? So when we start to getting into the how, we start dealing with things like scheduling, right? Start dealing with appointments, right? We also start thinking about even support we may need to get that thing done. Whether that's resources, people, whatever those things are, we start thinking about the how, right? So this is very critical, because there's what you need to do, and then there's how you're going to get it done. Now, I want you to think for a minute that, if you don't think about how to get something done, then all you have is a list of the things that stand between you and productivity, stand between you and achievement, stand between you and success. So we have to consider the how. How am I going to go about incorporating this into the way my life moves? So I have to consider the way my life moves, what I do at nighttime, what I can do in the morning, what is the best time for me to accomplish certain things? How can I integrate the things that I want to get done into the time, into the capacity, into the availability of how my life runs, right? But here's something I want you to keep in mind. So we talked about the how, right? And I want to put this back in black here. And we talked about the what, okay? Here is the big aha though, right? Here's the big aha, is we have to come this way and think about why, right? Now, I know a lot of times we don't think about this, but this step of thinking about why am I going to get those things done? So the why has to come before the what. And when we think about the why, there are some things that can be very important. Things like responsibility, right? Things that maybe create wealth, and things that have to do with quality of life, right? And that can be health, doing things you enjoy, relationship. There's so many things, right, that could go into, but these are three big areas. If you don't take care of what you're responsible for, well, now you could be a person that's not a good person, right? We have responsibilities as a husband, as a wife, as a father, as a mother, as a friend, as a roommate. There's different responsibilities that we have. So we have to understand what are the things that we're needing to do that is tied to a why, like responsibility. So this is how you begin to triage through the things that need to be done. You start to understand, where is my time actually going? Why am I doing what I'm doing? So we understand that. We have to understand things that are tied to wealth. So if you don't have money, then you can't do the things that you need to do in life. Now, I'm not here to tell you how much money you need to have. I'm not here to say that money can buy everything, but right up there with breathing, we need money because it takes money to get our groceries. It takes money to have electricity. It takes money to have clothes on our back. So money is something that we have to begin to evaluate. Things in our career, in our jobs, in our entrepreneurship, things that we're doing that's going to help to move the needle and cause us to create more wealth and resources for us to use for our family. Those are things that are very important. We have to make sure some percentage of the time that we give to our life every day is going to that, because we need those things to keep our life fueled and with the energy to be able to press forward. And then we can't lose sight of our quality of life, right? Because our quality of life, we can have all those things, but if we're not healthy, if we're not happy, if we don't have the right energy, if we don't build connections with people that are like-minded, if we don't have that sense of fulfillment in our life, then it's something about, all the money in the world just can't buy that. So we have to think about what are the things that we're trying to do that add to our quality of life, right? And this is, again, I want you to consider, this is so important. Because when you start to filter, right, let me go to another whiteboard here. So we have the what, right? But when we begin to filter that what, right, into the why, right? So what happens is you start to filter down and you start to understand that there is greater value and productivity after you begin to filter your what by your why. Now, what do I mean by that? So this is what I'm getting at. We talk about, you remember, we're talking today about doing too much and too little. Okay? Now, what are we really talking about here? So what we're really saying is, when we only focus on the what, right? And we don't know why. So we're not thinking about why we're giving time to certain things. When we focus only on the what, we end up doing too much of things that don't matter, right? And so we become an individual that is not actually able to get where we want to get in our business, get where we want to get in our career, get where we want to get with our health, because there's too many things on our plate that do not matter. It's taking away time from you. It's taking away energy from you. I've seen too many people that don't have the money they want. They don't have the career they want. They've not launched the dream that they have about a business. They've not been able to achieve those things with their health. And yet, if you follow them around and see how much of their time goes to things that do not matter, things that entertain them, some people need to turn the television off. Some people need to get off of social media because they have not focused their intention on something so that they can really begin to realize those things in life that are most critical to them. Everything they want is in front of them, but they put too much time and focus on things that do not move the needle in their life, that do not help them take steps forward. They should be trying to learn something. They should be watching videos like this that add value to their understanding. Things are going to help them know how to be more productive, how to focus, how to make money, how to increase skills, how to become better at who they are, how to become the person that is qualified to earn more because they've become the individual that has those ingredients in them that people will pay them for because they've arrived at some level of mastery. So you're doing too much on things that don't matter. And because of that, in the why area, we're doing too little. So the things that matter, because we understand why, the things that we have responsibility in, the things that help us create wealth, the things that improve our quality of life, there's not enough time and energy going to that because there's so much what, we're losing the why. I hope y'all can see this. All of you that are watching here and that will see this later, I hope you can relate to this, right? And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and you subscribe, comment, make sure you share, put something in the comments if you know that this is relative to you, that there's some things that you need to ask the question why and reevaluate where your energy and attention is going and make sure that you are truly not doing too much of the things that don't matter and too little of the things that do matter. So you are not investing the right amount of energy and time into the things that really begin to move our life forward. And instead, we're giving too much hours, too many minutes, too many seconds, too many mental journeys on things that add no value to our life. They do not move anything forward. It's an amazing thing. I talk to young people sometimes, and it's true for adults too. And, here's someone here that's, on the couch of life here. Let me just draw here and have a little fun here for a minute. Right? And they're on the couch of life here, and they're sitting. And, whoever this is, sitting on the couch of life here, and they're sitting here, and, they don't have any assets that are generating wealth for them. They don't own anything. They don't have anything online or on earth that is creating any income for them or wealth. They're simply exchanging time for money, right? I'm exchanging time, right, for money. So I am in a lose situation because we know that time is greater than money. And if you exchange time for money, you're always tied to a limited resource because you have a limited amount of time that you can use because you only have so much time in a day that you can actually use for you to do work. And if you're only making money based on that limited resource, you will always be stuck with a ceiling on what you can bring into your life from a wealth creation perspective. Now, here's this individual. Here they're sitting at home, right? And they've got a TV that's bigger almost than the place they stay, right? And I got this big TV, right? And I'm watching a basketball game here, right? And I'm watching this basketball game, and all these players is out here, and they've got the basketball, and they're going, right? And I'm watching this, right? And think about it. This basketball team, this individual will say, you know, we won, right? As if they sharing in the money, right? We won. No, we didn't win. You watching someone else win, right? Then after you watch this person, then you'll go hop on your phone, right? And then follow this individual and watch their life and all the cars that they buy, right? Right? The house, the big house that they bought, right? And you begin to watch their, right? Watching success, right? This is the problem. So again, we're talking about too much, right? You're doing too much. Too much of what? Too much of things that don't matter. Watching other people win, watching other people succeed, watching other people make millions, watching other people be successful in their life, watching other people celebrating what they do. What does celebrity mean? To one who is celebrated. So are you still stuck on the couch of life doing too much to watch other people have what you should be creating for yourself? So what we want to do is we have to change the dynamic. We have to change the focus, and we have to look at for a minute the pie, right, of, let me make this even worse here, right? So them and you, right? So how much of my time is watching them? And how much of my time is focused on myself, right? Let's make this more personal here. Let's say me. So again, we see that same dynamic. I hope you're starting to see this. Too much. And there's the too little, right? We have to begin to think differently. And if you're a parent, you got to monitor this with your children. There's only so much time for video games and certain things. Now, we don't want to be, unfair and unreasonable. Kids need to have fun, but we have to watch what is getting in our children's heads. How much time are they spending on things? Take your children to work with you sometime. Let them see what work looks like. Let them understand. Take them to the bank with you. Let them see things that are related to real success. Take them on a real estate drive. Show them what real estate looks like. Sit down and talk to them about stock and how it works sometime, right? But a lot of parents can't do that for their children because they don't do it for themselves. There's too much time going to things that they don't invest in themselves, and every time they have a chance to do something that will cause them to grow, they have a limited thinking on their mind, a poor person's mentality, right? So we want to understand, and there's a difference, in having a poor mentality and being poor in the bank. So we might not have the money that we want, but having a poor mentality, right? A broke mentality, that we feel like we never have enough to do the things that move the needle. But then we have all kind of time to do the things that don't move the needle. And when we add up all of the resources, the money, the time, the energy, the mental strength that goes into all the things that do not matter, we start to relook at that. And when we start to make those adjustments, the next thing you know, you start to change this pie here, right? And we want a different pie where we say, wait a minute, I'm going to switch this up and I still want to have some of them, but I got to put more into me. And what is me? This is your greatest investment. So, the next time that you think about the clock, right? And you think about we all have 24 hours, right? The question is it going to you or to them? And what are you doing, going back for a minute, to evaluate before I go from what, right, to how? I need to take a step backwards and think about the why, because the why will help me put things on this to-do list that actually move the needle, improve my life, and then I can focus on the how. All right. So I hope you all can see this, and I hope I've shared with you something that is helpful to you. Here at You Are a CEO, we are always accelerating the successful leaders and entrepreneurs. We are trying to accelerate you. You are already a leader. You are already a CEO. You are already an entrepreneur because each one of us is the CEO of our life, right? And if you're an entrepreneur, no matter what stage you're in, congratulations for having the courage to do something. And if you're a professional and you're a leader within your profession because you showed up and you're trying, then we want to accelerate your ability to do that here at URCL. That is what this is all about. And if you want that, and if you truly want to arrive at that level of success, you must make an effort to understand where are you doing too much and where are you doing too little, so that you can truly start to shift your life to doing the things that matter, so you can actually become the person that is qualified to have the things that you really want. I'm Michael E. Parker. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you